Hello, computer.
Hey! We're recording the podcast! Shut up!
Good morning to you, wherever you are, because it is Morning Somewhere! For January 29th, 2025. My name is Bernie Burns, sitting right over there. He's my best computer friend in the whole world. It's Scott Fuller. Say hi to Scott, everybody.
Hey, everybody, what's going on?
Do we ever call you Squirrel on this?
I think you may have referred to me as Squirrel, but...
Squirrely. Where did Squirrely Q come from? Did that come from Stacy Q?
That came from you when we used to do the voicemail messages. You were Bernie B and I was Squirrely Q. I swear to God.
You honestly...
You used to leave ridiculous messages on my voicemail, and you were like, yo, this is Bernie B in the house with my boy Squirrely Q. You do not remember this?
I'm embarrassed that you're telling the story. That's
Okay.
That's what this face is. I remember that perfectly well.
Okay.
Listen, we all start out somewhere.
Yeah.
I started out on Scott's outgoing greeting on his answering machine. You
Yeah.
had a good answering machine, though. You had one of the... It's going to make it sound old as shit. You had one of the first all-digital answering machines. Up until then, it was like
Well, there was no
tape.
tapes.
Like
Yeah.
literally like a cassette tape in there.
Yeah, this had like a memory card. I was balling back in college.
Did we grow up in the 1800s? Did sometimes you look back and be like, what the hell?
Well, I mean, everything's like that now. I mean, we've done more in the last 5 years than the 50 before that and 500 years before that. Everything just accelerates.
This week, dude, people were like, earlier they were saying, well, why hasn't he talked about DeepSeek yet? Since I talk about AI stuff all the time. I was on a goddamn plane and there was no Wi-Fi. As soon as I got on the plane, there was no Wi-Fi. And I said to myself, something's going to happen. Like the stock market's going to crash or something because I'm on this plane flying from London to Austin. There was 9 hours, no Wi-Fi. Sure enough, I land. $500 billion disappeared from Nvidia. Boop. They recovered today, though. Somewhat recovered.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was just an opportunity for the real investors to buy the dip.
If you want to see what a dip looks like, it's like a wall. And it was weird because DeepSeek put out their model that they have out right now. They put it out January 10th. I became aware of it kind of like everybody else did when it hit big with all this news on the 27th. I guess what the watershed moment was, it surpassed ChatGPT for downloads on like iOS and Android. And once that happened, it was like, boom. We're talking about the open source, hippy dippy, like anti-commercial AI model that's been coming out of China of all places.
So you remember when you introduced me to ChatGPT and we made fun of me because it was the moon question the last time I was here? Since that time, I use ChatGPT every day. The funny thing is, Ross and I were talking with our group on our guy thread the other day, and everybody was talking about whether they did or didn't use ChatGPT, and we started posting like examples of stuff we talked about. And the example I posted, the text gets so small because when you say like copy or speak, it blows the whole thing up. And mine is like a mile long. The conversations I have with ChatGPT every day are like super long. I talk every day.
Can I tell you, every now and then I discover something about my iPhone. I'm like, why did I not know this before? Like, there's this thing where you can, with 3 fingers, swipe to undo instead of doing what I've been doing for 10 years of shaking my phone like a maraca.
Still do that.
Yeah, like an
I didn't
idiot.
know that. Awesome, thanks.
I'm like on the train at the airport, just shaking my thing around.
All right, I just learned that. Great.
So here's another thing to learn. So if you're going to screenshot a chat,
Yep.
there's a good example of it where it's multiple pages. You have to scroll to get to all of it.
And you take multiple screenshots.
You take multiple screenshots. You can do a thing. I think it probably works better on a web page because chat is kind of infinite if you've been chatting with somebody for a long time. Anyway, you can take a screenshot on an iPhone and then you can do whole page. And then it does a full form, full length screenshot.
Damn it.
Dude, I know what you... You
just gave me 2 things in the last 15 seconds that I could use in my everyday life.
I got a weird thing on my phone that I did too that I learned from Instagram Reels where I have like, watch this. So I'm going to triple click my action button or whatever the hell it's called.
But
Yeah, so what just happened to my phone?
it just went all red.
Right, so a guy said it's like almost like the military guys, how they use the red flashlights at night so it doesn't ruin their night vision. At night, this is what my phone looks like. It's fucking red.
Did you know that, Ross?
The red screen.
Jesus Christ.
This I set up, though. I set that up as a shortcut.
So I can't do it right now.
You would not be able to do that, no. If you might have something set up on your triple
my
click.
shit shut off. I'm just kidding. I'm good. No, I'm
You
good.
just bought Nvidia. Congratulations.
No, I'm good. This is one of those things that as soon as it was developed, you're like, why didn't this exist from the beginning?
Have you tried on your phone? This has backfired on some people. in the like the photo library, it's got a search function. You can just search
Yes.
for like what's in the photo.
Yeah,
Like
and
that
you can also
orange
search.
cat.
Well, the one thing that I do with my photos is if I have like a text conversation or an email that I'm like, hey, don't forget to get back to this. I use it as my reminders. You can actually search words even though it's a picture and it will find it. Only I've gotten so far behind now. I've just kind of basically have a photo gallery journal of my life because I haven't gone back and checked I'm probably forgetting to pay bills or some shit like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I also find I have to have like folders for that stuff because if I take photos of stuff and think I'll want this later, I just can't find it later.
If it's really important, I'll email a screenshot to myself.
Oh, really?
Like right now, I need $600 from Southwest Airlines because I tried to buy a ticket to go see Jeff out in Tucson, and I tried to use Apple Pay, and Southwest happily took my money and did not issue me a ticket. So I get on their customer service, can't help me. Got to talk to your bank.
Has Southwest made their move to assigned seating yet?
Nope.
They're doing it. They announced it. That's the end of an era. Air travel is now going to take a change for the better across the board.
What are you talking about? It's so much better to just line up with 30 other people, 2 rows.
Do you appreciate it, though, as a guy who's got a degree in mathematics? Because they said that the model of just letting the free-for-all happen is the fastest way to board and deboard a plane.
Sure. And also, it was another math nerd that said, hey, if we take the cherry tomato and the olive out of our salads on flights that have food, we'll save $3.5 million a year.
Right, those fucking bean counters, ruining it for everybody else, right?
Idiots.
Ruining it, yeah. But people were getting busted by that search feature on the photo library because, people with their spouse or their partner would get their phone and look up underwear, and then they even in like some hidden folder, they'd get the racy photo, and they're like, "You're busted, pal."
Well, to tell you the truth, I've actually tried to search stuff like that before. Like when I've come to visit you, I've been like, oh, you know what? I don't feel like searching through the 20,000 pictures that are on my phone. I'm just going to type in Scotland and look through the 1,000 that I have. And it picked up like 74. And I go, well, that's not fucking right.
So you have a reputation on this podcast being kind of a, what is it? What do we call it? Not conspiracy theories?
Fringe theory. By the
Fringe
way,
theories. Does that make you paranoid? Like,
Not at all.
do you geotag your
I don't give a
photos?
shit anymore.
So do you use the map feature when you do that? The weird,
No, well, I'm assuming that if I typed in Scotland, it would take anything that was geotagged there.
Yeah, I
Is
would
that
assume
wrong?
so.
Is
No,
that wrong?
probably does. Yeah. There's also like a little caption info thing you can.
By the way, I do appreciate Ash a couple weeks ago. She corrected herself and just she was about to say conspiracy theory, and she said fringe theory. Actually, I don't give a shit anymore. Who cares?
Who cares, right?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
But I use that feature. We're going to get off to talking about the Apple photo library here in a second.
Sure.
I used it in a really weird way just today because I was looking at this bank of tapes, like these tape backups, and I needed to find one out of like 60. And it was all these serial numbers, and I was just scanning all the serial numbers. And I said, hold on a second. I stood back, framed it perfectly, took a photo of it, and then just typed in the number I was looking for. And it's like, there it is right there.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and that worked. It was
Wow.
like, help me find a needle in a haystack. And I was really proud of myself for thinking of that within the moment.
So see, for all the things that people want to be pissed off about AI, and intrusion of our privacy and all this stuff, we depend on it every day to help us do things.
But that's how they get you. They
That
get
is
you
how
with
they
the
get you.
convenience because it becomes
course.
so much easier to just, I'll just do the app. Yeah, I'll just accept them giving away the data. Our buddy Rod, you worked in technology. You used to build the machines that build these chips for
That's
Nvidia.
correct. Yeah.
Can you say the name of the company you used to work for?
Sure, Applied Materials. They're the number one semiconductor manufacturer in the world. They're the ones that build the machines that make the chips. So these are multi-million-dollar machines a piece, and like Samsung will purchase 500 at a time at a cost of billions of dollars, and we'll build the entire fab. Guess we're also
When you say fab, that's a fabrication machine?
a fab plant. So like
okay.
TSMC is the number one, and correct me if I'm wrong, we've got Ross sitting right here as a fact checker. They're like they do memory better than anybody else, and they're only located in Taiwan, right? So that's why it's such we're not going to get political or all that other stuff, but that's why Taiwan is so important right now. They're they're like 80%, 90% of memory chips that go into computers and the crown jewels and all this AI shit they're building.
I love you said you weren't going to get political and then immediately got political. I like it.
Is that right?
It's a good way to go into it.
I was like, hey,
Good way to go into it.
No disrespect. Go fuck yourself.
But we were talking about AI and DeepSeek, and it's everyone complains about, basically these AI LLMs turning the whole internet into their training ground, which basically means you're just stripping content from everybody else. Maybe it's a clause in some, user agreement that you signed onto, like even like 15 years ago. It's one of those future technologies yet to be invented in perpetuity.
You just made me think of something.
All your stuff.
You just made me think of something. You know how, because I did this today and did it incorrectly. You know how when somebody says, by signing this agreement, you agree to this, and you're like, well, this is fucking 25 pages. I'm not reading this shit. Why don't you get AI to read that and go, hey, can you, just scan this real quick and make sure there's not hiding in the small print?
Did you ever read about the software company that said they buried it 3/4 of the way through their user agreement?
I did.
Licensing agreement that if you read this and you write us, we'll give you $10,000 or something like that. And like 4 years later, a guy wrote and said, hey, did anybody ever claim the $10,000? I go, nope, you get it.
Hey, guess what?
Because he read the entire licensing agreement.
I did this in high school. I wrote a 750-page essay, and I didn't think Mr. MacArthur, my honors English teacher, was reading it. So halfway through it, I go, if you're even still reading this, circle this and say poop, right? And he circles it, says poop, and gives me a D-. I go, fuck.
That's a baller move, man.
Well, it was almost a baller move. The bigger baller move was him actually reading everything and going, up yours, dipshit.
That's what I'm saying. No, the baller move was him giving you a D-.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I read these papers. Fuck you, kid. Here's your D-. There's a famous Hollywood story about that, too.
No.
I don't know if it's true or not. I doubt it. I doubt that it's true. Because these guys were not well established when they did it. But supposedly, allegedly.
Not supposedly.
Supposedly, Scott.
Sorry.
Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, when they wrote the script for Good Will Hunting, and there was some speculation of whether or not they even wrote it. That was a whole conspiracy in the film world.
I thought the controversy was, did Ben Affleck contribute at all?
Oh, you thought it was all Matt Damon?
Yeah. Matt Damon.
There was some rumor that it was like ghostwritten by some other Harvard student or something like that.
I'm sure maybe it was. No, who knows?
But the story that they've all corroborated, I'm going to mention somebody who's a persona non grata at the moment, that in the middle of Good Will Hunting, in the middle of the script, they wrote a hardcore anal sex scene.
No shit.
And they put it in there to see if anyone actually read the script. And of all people, Harvey Keitel said, I really like the script. What the hell was with the scene in the middle of the movie? And they were like, and then they said, well, because he read the whole script, we decided to go with him. It's a really funny story, but
Ben
Affleck and Matt Damon were not like well established enough to be pulling a stunt like that.
How many times have I watched this movie? Harvey Keitel? What is he doing?
Did I say Harvey Keitel?
Yes.
Harvey Weinstein.
Thank God.
Sorry, that's the persona non grata.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that shouldn't come as a big surprise to him because he was the big anal sex guy anyway, wasn't he?
Man, I really hate the fact, because I liked Harvey Keitel. I like Harvey Keitel, and I'm sorry that I flubbed his name instead of Harvey Weinstein.
Get your lawyers ready.
Yeah, so they always talked about that. But it strikes me as weird because I don't think they had that. They didn't have that much like moxie, that much swing to be able to prove who is and who isn't reading their script. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
Still a funny story, though.
it is a very funny story.
It would have been really funny if it ended up as the director's cut. This like
An anal scene in there.
we're gonna go from the Apple Photo Library podcast to the Good Will Hunting podcast. I just read because of all the publicity that's taking place with Severance. You watching Severance?
Of course.
Great show.
It is a great show.
Ben Stiller apparently turned down directing Good Will Hunting, and he said he always regretted it. And I had no idea.
Who did?
Gus Van Sant, the
yeah.
guy he
Oh, the
did.
guy yeah. He did Swingers, didn't he? Wasn't that Swingers?
No. That's
That was-
Doug Liman.
No, dude. Dan something. I remember when Swingers come out, you were just getting going on some stuff, and you were talking to him about perhaps...
It's Victor Simpkins.
It is not.
It is, I worked with the guy. I know his name, motherfucker.
ChatGPT.
Oh, God.
Is there anybody associated with the movie Swingers by the name of Dan, either a producer or director, blah, 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 something. All right.
Is that the way you talk to ChatGPT?
No, I do better than that usually. Dude, I told you that I could be that whole prompt engineering thing, which I thought was a bullshit role. I'm really good at the question of it.
I'm really good at the questions.
Fuck me.
I do like that I showed you.
right.
I do like that I showed you ChatGPT.
And then lied about the example.
What do you mean?
Why is the moon fake? That was what you said to the audience last time.
Oh,
I did say something like
But
that.
you had never seen ChatGPT before that.
No, incorrect. I had used ChatGPT, but I had never used the talking interface, which I thought was amazing.
Like the ChatGPT O?
Yeah, you just press the button and you talk to it and it talks back. Now, I still don't use that quite as much. I still find myself talking as a text into it, but the replies that I get are enthralling. I mean, I'm not like developing a relationship and like there's no her situation going on or anything like that, but you can't, it says that it doesn't record your conversations and periodically it'll clear its cache. But if you are tricky about it, you can actually access your old conversations. I've done that.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of things that say that they get rid of that, you'll find.
Of course
that
they don't.
Like
It's
Snapchat
somewhere.
famously went to court.
Yeah.
Their whole platform was based on, your messages all disappear. Then sure enough, they went to court. And guess what?
Yeah.
The chat logs were there.
And couldn't people always screenshot it anyway? I guess not. Have you ever tried to take a screenshot on your phone from if you're watching a Netflix movie? It's dark. So somebody figured that shit out.
And that would make sense because that's the same thing. I had a lot of capture tools for what we did at Rooster Teeth, like capturing an Xbox to record Halo. And the moment we turned on something that had any kind of protection on it, HDMI had it built in to where it would immediately say, I can't record this. And it just would not show up in a recording.
Now, obviously, I could use another device and take a picture of my screen, but trying to do a snapshot is what got screwed up.
They got to relax on that stuff, man. I don't believe in piracy, but they got to relax on that stuff. Like you and I, you were the person who came to my house in Scotland, and we were trying to watch the NCAA tournament.
NCAA tournament.
Yeah. And you were just like, how do you not have this? And I go, because it's just a pain in the ass. And we spent, how many hours did we spend trying to watch something?
Well, we spent a little bit of time. I would like to say that I enjoyed more basketball than I was pissed off that we couldn't get it, because that was the truth. That was amazing. That was like the first weekend of it too, which is amazing.
I fucking hate it.
stop
Basketball's just not my thing.
Dude.
You guys
okay, now wait a minute. There's a huge difference between NBA and NCAA. Huge difference. You get that, right?
I get that, but we're also guys who like college sports. Like we like college football more than the NFL as well.
Yeah, but it goes college football, NFL, and if people can't see, I've got my hand above my head.
Yeah, in case
1
you
inch
can't see
lower
on this
is
audio
NFL.
podcast, I'll describe Scott to you. He's got his hand in the air. He's
go.
in position 1.
There you go.
Now he's in position 2. Now he's down in position 3.
No, I went down
Can
to
he
like
go
5.
any lower? Can he go lower?
And then everything else.
Oh, no, he went way down.
God damn it.
He went way down.
You know what I meant. Look, it's basically college football, NFL, NCAA basketball, and then the rest sucks ass.
Well, while we're talking about stuff that we use that burns excessive amounts of energy, I don't use ChatGPT anymore. Honestly, I don't, because of the climate aspects of it more than anything else.
Is it because they found that it was biased? Maybe.
No. It's because the climate stuff. Really, that every time you ask it a question, it's something like 8 glasses of drinking water get poured out.
I have never ever had that issue.
What's that? What do you mean? With the energy? You don't care about the energy usage
with ChatGPT.
Well, you don't care about. But you don't. How would you know how much energy it's using? Like every time you ask it a question, there's a server somewhere in the world that has to process that and answer.
Oh, guess what? We're fucking using more than that to produce Bitcoin, motherfucker.
That's what I was going to say while we're talking about things. It's this deep.
By the way, I apologize. I didn't mean to call you motherfucker.
Dive also really affected some of the crypto prices, and then they came back up because now this is becoming increasingly more of a talking point in the crypto world of at what point will there be a computer or several computers that can just chain together and can possibly break all that. But if that happens, they're going to break everything in the world.
Did you hear about Google's Willow issue?
No, I don't even know what Willow is.
So basically, they asked it a problem, and the funny thing with this is, I'm embarrassed as a mathematician that I didn't know that supposedly there's this math problem that's impossible to solve, and if you fed it to every computer in the world, it would take it 3 trillion years to solve.
Right.
Well, it solved it in about 5 minutes. So what that means is, or what they're kind of trying to throw out there is, the only way this possibly could have happened is if it was accessing data processing abilities from alternate dimensions or multiverses. Now,
Is it a quantum computer, Willow?
It has to be.
Google's 105 qubit Willow chip achieves major quantum milestones. So it's a quantum computer. So the dimensional thing could be something that could be discussed in that.
Well, time out a second. I don't know whether you realized it, but you actually provided a segue into something I want to talk about. I had a whole list of stuff that I was going to throw out there.
We can record again if you want to record again.
I don't want to record again.
Okay,
I love what we've talked about so far.
Okay.
But I was going to start off with shows.
Show's yours. You're the host. Hold on a second. Let me go back. Here, I'll start this again. This will be Scott is now hosting. Ready?
Hey, we're recording the podcast. Shut up.
Good morning to you, wherever you are, because it is 2025. I got it right. Go fuck yourself.
Floor is yours, sir. Go.
Well, no, I mean, I thought, sorry, dude. I thought maybe we'd start out an easy talking about shows. One of the things we talked about last time I was here was the shows that we watch, and it was very difficult for you to find one that you were watching that I hadn't watched. So I had a whole new list, and I was surprised of one that I didn't. By the way, okay, so you just say yes or no as I go through them. Silo.
Yeah.
Severance.
Yeah.
Landman.
No. What is? Oh, that's the Billy Bob Thornton. No.
Yeah. Fuck you. Hacks. You haven't even heard of Hacks for skipping.
I watched Devs.
Did you watch Old Man with Jeff Bridges?
How do you do this? No, old man. I don't even know
Dexter.
Nope.
Really?
Yeah.
Any of the Yellowstones, including 1923.
Yes, I watched Yellowstone.
Good for you. Handmaid's Tale.
Yes.
Okay. Now,
But not all of it.
Here's the one that surprised me that I don't watch because it's actually based on loosely based on real events, and they threw it all in the show. Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't watch that. I didn't like it, and I didn't realize till years later after season 3 what it was about. They're basically stringing together all the Montauk, MK Ultra. I mean, all this stuff that I've been studying about for fucking 20 years, and I decided not to watch. So when I run out of things to watch, which will be fucking never, I will go back and watch this.
I mean, studying is a word.
What about Foundation? The
Studying
Isaac
a lot of
Asimov.
things, but yeah.
Okay, Foundation.
Nope, didn't watch it.
You idiot. Slow Horses. Gary Oldman. Slow Horses?
No.
Jesus.
Are some of these made up?
No. Did you finally start watching The Bear? I know you started
I
watching
did start watching The Bear.
You like it?
At your recommendation. I like it very much.
So good.
I like it very much.
How uncomfortable is it to watch? People don't understand that people in Boston talk like that all the time. Casey loves it, but we watch it and she's just uncomfortable the whole time because everybody's yelling at each other.
And the conflict, yeah. Some people don't like that. You know what, though? There's a thing that filmmakers can do that draws me out big time, even though they did it in Severance and it didn't draw me out. When they do the big, long, one-shot, single-take thing.
That's a big thing with you directors.
I'm not into it. It's too indulgent to me.
What, are we speeding shit up?
No, that's the symbol for wrap it up. We usually do it quietly. So
oh my God, we're done? We haven't even gotten to the shit I want to talk to.
I don't have time to edit an hour-long podcast.
We have got, okay, so call this part 1 and let's keep going. It'll air like months from now. I don't know. Shit. I have a bunch of shit I want to talk to you about.
Okay, well, talk to me. You're the. Here we go. We'll play the song again.
Okay, well.
Hey, we're recording.
There you go. What do you want to talk about?
Morning Somewhere
We
for
can
the 3rd time in a row.
Talk about anything you want to talk about, as long as it isn't fringe theories.
Well, I thought a good segue.
Get in the mic.
I'm sorry.
You're the host of the show, for God's sake.
I should know how to use this. I figured a good segue into something interesting was going to be real life Silo. So if you're a Silo fan.
We knew what you meant. We got you.
If you're a Silo fan, then I thought you would at least be interested in that article. Again, I realize you fucking get a million tweets a day, a million emails, a bunch of texts, and unless I catch you in the middle of the night where you went up to take a piss or you got up early to take care of Finn or something like that, I realize we're not going to trade texts back and forth like we rarely do and we used to. But Silo. I sent you an article on. Yeah, that was a long walk. That was a long walk. That was a long walk. Did you not see that they're doing real life Silo?
Silo, to me, I don't think you ever played it, but it's just like Fallout Shelter.
So there is a company that is actually building real silos, only instead of 10,000 people, it's going to be 650 people. And instead of people that are mechanics and people that can actually do shit, it's going to be a bunch of rich people that can't do fucking anything. And they're going to build one in each state, so 50. The first one's going to be completed in Washington, D.C. by 2026, and then they're going to spread out like 50 other countries. So they're already planning for fallout shelters for at least, whatever, 650 that many people. But they're going to be luxury. The minimum amount to get in is $20 million starting right now.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
For something that they probably are just going to build a door in the ground and then sell access to the door for $20 million.
And they go, bye.
Right. What are they going to do? If the world blows up, what are you going to do? Sue them?
Oh, dude. Are you kidding me? There's a lap pool in the bottom. There's a media room.
We had this thing years ago. It's one of the things, sometimes people give me credit for the early stuff in the internet, like with video stuff, that I don't really think I earned the credit for some of that stuff. There's one, though, that I think I might have legitimately been ahead of everyone else on. The concept of a zombie plan, where people have this plan for what they're going to do in the apocalypse. They can't tell you what they're going to do with their savings or what their plan is for next Thursday.
Jeffrey, pay that zombie off, please. That's what these guys are going to do, because they're not going to be able to do anything.
Well, they'll be underground. They'll be knocking on the door trying to get in, going, I paid my $20 million.
Yeah.
10 years ago or whatever. But there was an insurance company, because we had this concept of zombie plan and we had t-shirts and everything. There was an insurance company that reached out to us, and they had a product where they would sell you zombie insurance. And they said, and this would be great, and your fans would love it, and they'd think it was hilarious. And I was like, yeah, but I'm literally selling them something. I'd be selling them something that I know it's like a gift card you can't ever cash.
What the fuck do you think insurance is?
It was supposed to, I know, but why would I, just because insurance exists doesn't mean I want to sell it to people who listen to my shows. You know what I mean? It's just like,
that's very honorable view, since fucking every other insurance company in the world would do exactly that if they had the opportunity.
Well, I'm not an insurance company. I'm a podcaster, and I have a reputation to think of. Mm-hmm. But I always thought it was interesting that they would do that, and they would have certificates and everything. So it was basically just pamphlets, right? And that's what they're selling you, just the pamphlets.
So by the way, since you told me we're already at 40 minutes, and I have only talked about...
you keep saying you want to talk about stuff and then not talking about it.
Because we got sidetracked. That's the way this shit works. If I'm really in control of this podcast,
you're in control.
It's over, ding dong. So listen. Let's
you're in control. So is it over?
End it now and promise people there will be a part 2. And I promise you, I'm going to blow your mind when we get off air here. And is this going to air tomorrow or today?
It'll air tomorrow morning.
Okay.
I'm in Austin, in case you haven't figured that out.
So sorry, did I ruin that?
No. If you're on the podcast, it's pretty clear.
Oh, that's okay. So let's wrap it up.
I did say it was on the plane,
I'm going to... One of the many things I wanted to talk about, which I thought was going to surprise you, was none of the typical conspiratorial fringe things, but I was going to talk about consciousness, because one of the most fascinating things that's found its way into my realm over the last couple months is physicists. Thomas Campbell, Matthew Price, Hal Puthoff. I hope that name is familiar to you, but it's probably not. These are physicists, actual degreed physicists, famous, respected for their work, that have all of a sudden pivoted to consciousness because they started to realize that, and by the way, this is why you're not hearing, after all years of disclosure on UAPs and NHIs, people are all of a sudden...
What's a UAP? You got to say it.
It's an unidentified aerial phenomenon, and NHI is non-human entity. Non-human...
Intelligence?
Yeah, that makes more sense. So we know with vowels and stuff.
I got you.
So the main thing is this. The reason why they've stopped talking about it is because they realize there's another element that would be more uncomfortable for people, and it's that you and I have talked about 0-point energy. Jesus Christ. So now I'm going off on a tangent, but apparently the same thing that makes 0-point energy available, which it is, cold fusion, been around for 50 years. This will be the teaser for the next thing.
Not available.
Is the same thing that allows things.
Where is it available?
Well, look.
You say it's available. Can I go to Best Buy and get a 0-point energy router? What am I getting here?
There's a certain amount of intellectual scaffolding that needs to occur before.
Is there any of that in this room right now?
Well, there will be. God damn it. So shut it down. Next time we'll talk about the stuff that I want to talk about. And we'll just throw it out there.
You go though. 0-point energy. Go ahead.
Okay, so
I want to hear the conclusion of this.
That's the point. We need a whole nother. We never even got to talk. You started talking about all this other stuff. There's a whole nother show we need to do.
Well, I'm the guest on the podcast. That's why I come to the podcast to talk about things. It's your podcast. You're the host.
Well,
I want to promote my fucking book.
What is your book?
I'm kidding.
I know you're kidding. No, fuck it. Just wrap it up because
All right.
I could do this for another 3 hours and I'd bore the hell out of you.
All right. Well, that does it for us today. Do you want to do the outro since you're the host? Go for it.
I was just going to say, I was going to do the Ash part. Bye, everybody.
Okay, there you go. All right, well, that does it for us today. January 29th, 2025. We will be back to talk to you tomorrow. We hope you will be here as well.
Later.